Welcome into the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. I'm Tom Leach, along with Jim Goodman, Keeneland's Director of Simulcasting. And we're going to take a look at the 4 graded stakes races on the Saturday night card at Churchill Downs that will also feature an appearance by Triple Crown winner American Pharoah. And then 2 graded stakes races out at Santa Anita. Want to congratulate Jim on a great call on the Met Mile last week. You were all over the Honor Code Tonalist Exactin. You got the right horse home first. Good job.
Yeah, it actually played out like I thought it would. They ran a 43-3, I think, first half, and it just said I thought Honor Code was too far back, and then he came like a freight train. That was a nice experience for me. I had the exact a few times and had to pick 4 using Honor Code and Tonalist, so it was a very good Belmont day. So I hope you all listened to the good advice I gave on at least that one race with Honor Code and Tonalist.
We also want to remind you.
Mr. Leach, by the way, had a nice pick with Slumber.
Yes. I finally got a Slumber home, so that was good.
Well, Chad Brown kept touting him. I guess finally that finally came through. I got a nice trip, and it was a beautiful race. So it was a wonderful Belmont day. I'm so happy for the guys at NYRA. I've got some good friends that work there, and they've taken some beatings over the years. But I think the Belmont Stakes, the experience, I think, and by all accounts, was much better with them limiting the number of people there, and they did a better job with the transportation, and the racing gods shined on them with American Pharoah running the big race. So it was a pretty nice day for horse racing.
And let's remind folks of something new that's starting at Keeneland Select. It's the Twitter tourney, and you have a chance to win a $50 wagering credit for your account each week by picking the winners of 2 races. This week, it happens to be the Stephen Foster and the Fleur de Lis, 2 of the races that we're going to be talking about on this podcast. Katie Gensler and I do a video pick each week, and we'll make reference to the Twitter tourney each week. But you can find out more about it on the promotions page at KeenelandSelect.com. All right, Jim, let's get to the Grade 3 Regret. It's the first of the 4 stakes races on the Churchill card, and it is for fillies 3 years old at 1 1/8 on the turf. And who did you like?
Well, I like a horse, the 6 horse, Prado Sweet Ride, and I like an angle with Florent Giroux is coming in to ride, and I'm assuming, I haven't looked at the entries for Arlington, but I'm thinking that he's riding up there on Saturday, and he's going to fly in to ride this filly for Chris Block. And she ran at Indiana Downs last time out, and maybe she just didn't like the track up there. She went off at a little less than 3-1, and she didn't run very well, but they're running her back here, and she ran on May 30th. So, they're running her back in 2 weeks in what looks like a tougher field, but I like the fact that Giroux comes in to ride her. And other than that, I can make a case for a lot of fillies in here. Lady Zuzu for Lucas and Alvarado, and Return to Grace for Corey Lannery and Mark Cassey. Cassie's been on fire at Churchill, and Don't Leave Me, the horse, she won a couple of races, one at Turfway Park, the Bourbonnette Oaks, and shows some good form on turf back last year. So I can make cases for other fillies in here, but I think Prado Sweet Ride is going to be my pick, the 6 horse for Florent Giroux and Chris Block.
Couldn't decide on anybody in here, so I'm thinking, okay, there's just no standout. I'm going to take the improving horse, and that's Return to Grace. The last race, I went back and watched that, and she won that in a manner that suggests that the next step ought to be a stakes race, and that's where she is. And you mentioned how hot Cassie Barnes been, and I think this is a filly that's really getting good, and so those improving fillies at this age can be really dangerous. So I'm going to take the 2 Return to Grace in here. Use her with Don't Leave Me, the 1, the 3 Lady Zuzu, and the 5 Christina's Journey on the chance that she might wake up on the switch in surfaces. 7th race, the Fleur de Lis, fillies and mares 3 and up, going 1 1/8. You got 3 horses that came out of the Derby weekend stake: Sheer Drama, Gold Medal Dancer, Tis Windy, and then you've got Yahilwa, who won the 60 Sales 2 starts back. I could see any of those winning it. I ended up going to Sheer Drama. She just missed in a Grade 1 on Oaks Day, and training like she can move forward off that. And I liked her that day, and she didn't quite get there. So I'm going to take the 1 Sheer Drama, extra 16th of a mile might be the difference. Use her with Gold Medal Dancer, Tis Windy, and Yahilwa. How about you?
I liked Sheer Drama. I like Gold Medal Dancer on the outside, but she might be compromised by the speed of My Sweet Addiction to her inside. And that's the one that scares me a little bit. Even though there seems to be ample speed in here, she comes out of the Grade 1 Vanity at Santa Anita at 1.8 miles, and won it. And so she's a Grade 1 winner, moved up from an optional 62,000 to a Grade 1 at Santa Anita. They ship her across the country for a Grade 2 with a $200,000 purse. Mike Smith comes with her, and so My Sweet Addiction is the one that I'm kind of worried about, but I would go with Sheer Drama as well, simply because she ran well in the La Troyenne. In the Royal Delta, she beat house rules by 6.5 at Gulfstream, and that was a very impressive victory. So I'm going to go with Sheer Drama, but I think this is a race where you would take more than one horse in a pick 3 or pick 4, and I would use Sheer Drama, Yahilwa, My Sweet Addiction, and Gold Medal Dancer at a minimum there in multi-race wagers.
8th race is the Grade 1 Stephen Foster handicap for 3-year-olds and up at a mile and at 8th, and it's going to be telecast nationally on the NBC Sports Network. And you've got Lee in here, probable favorite. You got Commissioner coming off 2 nice wins. You've got Opportunity, a Grade 1 winner on this track, and the Clark handicap. Tough group here. Who did you go for in the Stephen Foster?
Yeah, Baffert gets to come back and show off American Pharaoh and then run Opportunity in the Grade 1 Stephen Foster. I think there's kind of some karma there. So I always heard when Opportunity was training at Churchill with American Pharaoh, he looked great. And I think the fact that he had that great win in the Clark last November really helps here on this track. Commissioner, you can certainly make a case for him. I mean, he won the Pimlico Special for fun after a 109 buyer in the skip away at Gulfstream Park. Lee comes back from Dubai, and you always wonder about, they've given him off enough time. He should be fine. It's been March 28th since he ran, but do they come back from Dubai on top of their game? I would give the edge to Opportunity here, unless American Pharaoh maybe really pulls a surprise and they pull the blanket off of him and run him in this race a week later. That'll be a nice feather in his cap. Win the Stephen Foster the week after he wins the Belmont. But I think Opportunity.
I'm gonna bet against that happening.
For that. I don't think that'll happen. I think the Coolmore people might have a fit there, but Opportunity is my pick here in the Grade 1 Stephen Foster, the 5-horse.
I went with him as well. I think you might get a little value on him because Commissioner's got a couple of nice wins with good buyers, and then Lee's got that 110 buyer, 2 starts back, and Opportunity's best number was at Churchill, training great, and his prep for the Clark handicap win last year was off a layoff longer than this, so he can fire fresh. And I like Mike Smith taking the ride, too. I'm not sure what the deal is there. Garcia's been riding him for a while, but you can't go wrong moving to Mike Smith. That's almost always an upgrade. And I'm going to take Opportunity as well, use him with Commissioner, Lee, and Noble Bird, I think, is getting good for Cassie, another improving Cassie horse that bears watching. But I just don't know if he's quite good enough. So I'm going to take Opportunity to win the Stephen Foster. 9th race is the Grade 3 Matt Win for 3-year-olds at a mile at a 16th. And Baffert's got the likely favorite in here in Fame and Power. I couldn't pick against him. He looks like the controlling speed. Had a 99 buyer last time in the win up at Pimlico. Looked really good doing it. And then has trained very well off that race. I do think the 6, Henry Jones, is a little dangerous because 2 of his better races have come at Churchill Downs. And the last one, the Cinco Charlie came out of that race and came back and ran great in the Woody Stevens up in New York last weekend. So Henry Jones bears watching here, but I'm going to pick Fame and Power, use him with Henry Jones and also in an exacta box with Bold Conquest. How about you?
Yeah, I think this is the race that you can go. I think you're safe going too deep here. I think Fame and Power, the 5, and Bold Conquest, the 7, are the most likely winners. And if you're going pick 3s or pick 4s, that's the 2 I would use. If Fame and Power gets really hammered at the window, I could be talked into a small win wager on Bold Conquest. He beat him by 3 lengths in the Sir Barton. There is a couple pound weight shift here. You're going to get, with Espinoza riding Fame and Power, everybody's going to bet him. Santana fits Bold Conquest really well, and Asmussen certainly can get a horse ready and move him up. And 3 lengths wasn't that much difference at Pimlico, and Bold Conquest has had a race over the track and ran the Iroquois last year and only got beat by a neck in a Grade 3. So I could be talked into Bold Conquest because of value over Fame and Power, but I would use both those in pick 3s and pick 4s.
Want to look at a couple of graded stakes out at Santa Anita. Not great betting spots because they're such small fields, but we'll start with the 5th race there, the Grade 1 Shoemaker Mile. And I took Bali, the sensation in his U.S. debut for Mandela. Was so impressive there. Training like he should have any regression. And there is a horse in here that is favored over him, but I think if you can get Bala Bali the second choice, that would constitute value at whatever price it is. I think in here, and I'm going to take him just a win bet on the 5, nothing else. How about you?
Yeah, I like Bala Bali. Any horse is 12 out of 13 lifetime. I don't think you can complain much. And even though he ran in Brazil, the last race he ran in Brazil was a $500,000 stakes race. So if you look at the prices he's gone off at, it's 1-9, 1-9, 2-5, 1-9. So, yeah, if you get a little value on Bala Bali, looks like the real deal. I would play him. Winning prize, I think, because of back class, has a shot in here, but he would have to get back to where he ran the Kilroe last year, March of 14. He ran the Arcadia and Frank Kilroe back-to-back with 105 buyers, and I think that's what he's going to need to run to compete with Bala Bali. But I agree with you on this one, and I'd take winning prize as a saver, and maybe you do a 5-1 exacta.
8th race, the Grade 3 Adoration, 3-year-old and up fillies and mares at a mile and a 16th. American Pharoah was 3-5 to win the Belmont last week on the morning line and ended up going off at that. Beholder is 2-5 in here. Can you beat her?
I think you can beat her. She's only had one race in September, and that was April 10th in the Santa Lucia, and that was obviously a prep for this race and something bigger down the line. But I think Warren's Vanita has a shot here. Only got beat by a length in the Vanity and went off at 1-9. My Sweet Addiction, the mare who won that race, is racing at Churchill, so you might be able to take a look at that. I don't know which race goes off first, but look at those two races. I don't have a post time on my schedule here, but this is the 8th at Santa Anita. I would imagine the race at Churchill would go off a little bit earlier because Santa Anita, Churchill starts at 6. So anyway, Warren's Vanita ran against My Sweet Addiction and was 1-9 last time out and got beat by a length. She has won 8 races. She's won Grade 1 on the track at a mile and 8, shortening to a mile and 16. So I don't think Beholder is 2-5 in here. I think Warren's Vanita has a outside shot to pull an upset. Would I bet my mortgage on it? Probably not, but I might bet a few dollars.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I took Warren's Vanita on the blog post that I did. If you want to wager, I think a win wager on her is probably your best shot to get value because they'll pound Beholder, and this horse lost last time, so you'll get maybe a little better price than what she's listed. And her figures are comparable. And, as a mare gets a little older like Beholder, with each passing year, there's more of a chance they could start to regress a little bit. So I'm going to try Warren's Vanita in there, just a win bet again on the 5 in the Adoration for me. So that's the way we look at it for the Saturday card. Jim, anything special going on contest-wise for folks who come out for Keeneland simulcasting this weekend?
We do. We have typically a night contest on Churchill Downs, and it's no exception this Saturday night. So if you can't get up to Churchill and see American Pharoah in person, you can come out to Keeneland and play a contest with us. It's actually, I'm giving a better price this weekend. I'm doing $30. We're going to have a pizza party. So we're going to order pizza, and we've got dessert and bread supplied by our hospitality people. We've got a big wedding going on, so we couldn't do a full buffet, but I'm ordering pizza for everybody and giving you a $5 break on the contest. You pay $30, can win up to probably $1,300 to $1,600 for first place, and we play the Churchill races along with all the other races that we're carrying between 6 and 9:45. So that's in the equestrian room. Registration starts around 4:30, and the first race at Churchill is 6 p.m. So come out and join us if you can't make it at Churchill this weekend.
Sounds like fun. And don't forget to check out the promotions page at KeenelandSelect.com for details on the Twitter tourney. It's a new contest that we have underway where you can win a chance to boost your Keeneland Select wagering account with some good picks. We'll be back next Saturday with another edition of the In the Money Podcast to check out the weekend stakes races. For Jim Goodman, I'm Tom Leach, and this is the In the Money Podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.